This is the story of Martin Luther King, visionary leader of the civil rights movement, icon of modern American liberalism, awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, and one of the greatest orators in American history. This is also the story of his assassination on the 4th of April 1968 at the Lorraine Motel, Memphis, Tennessee, where King was staying in order to support workers' protests against low wages and poor working conditions. 2 months after King's death, an escaped convict, James Earl Ray, was arrested.
So what was the evidence used to arrest Ray?
Well, for a start, there was a plethora of eyewitness accounts linking Ray with a guy seen running from the crime scene. The manager of the boarding house opposite the Lorraine gave a positive ID of Ray and added that he was well dressed with a substantial amount of money in his pocket. Another positive ID was made by a shop owner where Ray purchased a pair of binoculars. Finally, fingerprints were found in the getaway car and on the rifle matching those of Ray. Besides, when questioned, James Earl Ray confessed to the murder. On the 10th of March 1969, he was convicted and sentenced to 99 years in prison.
So case closed then. Plenty of evidence and a confession. James Earl Ray assassinated Martin Luther King.
Not quite. 3 days later, Ray retracted his confession and said he had been made a scapegoat of a conspiracy.
What conspiracy? That's the stuff of storybooks. And if Ray wasn't the mastermind behind the shooting, then who was?
Well, that's a great question. But before we look at the other suspects, let's have another look at the evidence. Is it really that watertight? A racist petty criminal looking to make a name for himself stalks a well-protected king and finally kills him. Then he manages to make an almost clean getaway, but not before dropping the weapon with his fingerprints on it and his personal radio with his name engraved on it. Does this really add up? And wouldn't you confess if threatened with the death penalty?
Okay, said that way, it does sound very fishy. So, did Martin Luther King have any enemies that had the power to get rid of him?
Well, he certainly did. Let's take J. Edgar Hoover, director of the FBI. He had a stack of reasons for silencing King, not least because King opposed the Vietnam War. Ever wondered why all the transcripts of recorded audio tapes and the FBI's electronic surveillance of King are sealed from public access until 2027?
Being present at the shooting would be the best way of avoiding suspicion. But would you have stood next to a man who was about to be shot?
On the 23rd of April 1998, James Earl Ray died in prison. During his incarceration, he made many attempts to withdraw his guilty plea. He never succeeded. Relatives of Martin Luther King did not believe that Ray was involved in the shooting. Witnesses surrounding King at the moment of his death say the shot came from another location, not from the rooming house window where Ray boarded. Photographs also substantiate this claim. In the words of Bevel, there's absolutely no way a 10-cent white boy could develop a plan to kill $1 million black man. Now, it's up to you whether you believe that